Namaste yogis. So I started teaching about 13 years ago, and when I remember I had done my teacher training course in Mysore, there was this one posture that I really wanted to be able to do, and that was Shirshasana, or the headstand. And I always thought that how can someone like me ever be able to do this posture? There's no way. And I realized that it's actually not just about the physical aspect of the body, but it's also about the technique. The technique of a headstand is so important to be able to practice this posture, and today it has genuinely become my most favorite posture in the world. So I really wanted to share 3-step process of how we can help ourselves get into this posture. If this is something that you've been wanting to practice, this is what this video is about. So I'm going to be sharing all 3 stages one by one. Please practice as much as you can and however you feel that you're able to catch with it. And if you have a local teacher with you, please show them as well, just to make sure that you're safe and that the practice is done beautifully. So step 1 is, I would say, a checkpoint of headstand. Whether I should even try to practice the headstand on the wall. Just the first and foremost checkpoint, which is your dolphin plank. Now, the dolphin plank is just the absolute perfect checkpoint because we get to see how strong is, our arms as well as the core, because at the end of the day, you don't want yourself to be held by your head or your neck. There should be no pressure there. The entire body, when it is upside down, which is something I really wanted to know, what does the word look like upside down? That's basically the reason I wanted to be able to practice this. But it's all about the core and making sure that you're using your core to hold yourself beautifully so that there's no risk of any injury. So step 1, checkpoint, dolphin plank. The way you do it is very simple. You're going to interlock your hands together right here. Now from here, my knees are bent, so I'm going to straighten my legs. Now I should be able to perform 20 of this movement without any problem. It should not be like, oh my God, I am struggling. Oh my God, what do I do? It's just very simple. This should be practiced 20 times. Just see with yourself, am I able to do that? If not, that's perfectly fine. Let's work on building the core. Let's work on building the arm strength so that eventually when you come on the wall, it's going to be so safe and so beautiful. So that was step 1. Now let's go for step 2, which is using the wall as a prop just to understand the measurement. How do I go up and not just collapsing completely, right? So what we're going to do is start into Vajrasana. Now, how do I get my measurement of my hand and my elbow? Very simple. You're going to hold both your elbows like this. Then I want you to just straighten your hands right here and interlock them. Nice and firm. Like if I touch your hands right now, they should not be moving. It should be like 2 brick of rocks, whatever you call it, or wood, right? So it's not just random placements of the elbow. There is a specific placement for the elbow. If the elbows are too out, you can really dislocate your shoulders if you're going up. So please be careful. Now, next step is placing our head. A lot of people I have seen, they place the forehead. Please avoid that. That is extremely, extremely dangerous for you. We are placing the crown of the head. And for all of us, there is somewhere in the crown of the head where there's a little bit of a flat surface, which will come over practice. You will find your own. Just make sure that you're working from the crown of your head. So let's just revise what we just learned. So elbows, then you're straightening them, you're interlocking the hands. And now I'm going to place not my forehead, so not this, which I've seen a lot of people do. You're placing the crown of your head. Now from here, I'm going to straighten and tuck my toes in, and straighten, lift my knees. Now a lot of people, what they do from here is they try to jump they try to jump from here. Now this is a recipe for disaster, right? Because if I jump from there, I have no control over my body. So what do I need to do? I need to ensure that I walk my toes in as much as I can. And when I do it right now, just look at my back. My back right now is really away from the wall. And when I walk my toes in, it's gonna start coming closer to the wall, so I will finally have a straight back for my headstand. I don't want a flimsy back, I want a nice and straight back. So let me just demonstrate once. Tuck the toes in. Everything's good so far, so good. Now from here, I walk my toes in as much as I possibly can. Now from here, I can finally, in a controlled manner, lift my legs. Now I need to engage my core, and this is absolutely comfortable. I'm able to probably stay here for a good 5 minutes. Absolutely no harm, no issues, nothing wrong. Now, how do I come down? Do I just collapse and come down? No. I'm going to aim to get my right toe to touch Mother Earth and let my left leg follow. And then, voila. Most importantly, of course, always end your Shirshasana practice with double of the time spent in Shirshasana will be your Balasana, your child's pose, just for the blood flow to come back to the brain region and relax here. So I hope that these little tips and tricks helped for you to practice your Shirshasana. If you have any questions at all in your mind and that you would like to know, you're welcome to leave me a comment in the description down below, and I look forward to seeing you for more tutorials, more dance yoga, pranayama, sound healing, and meditation on Wellness Shraddha. So I look forward to seeing you again. Namaste, yogis.